Alright, today we're paying a revisit to the Forever Fan ceiling fan. Manufactured sometime back in the early 1990s. 3-speed electrically reversible. Finished in antique brass paired with a set of high gloss walnut blades. They were reversible to a high gloss oak on top. Filmed this fan around 9 years ago. Picked this fan up from a local reuse place. Forget how much I paid for it. But the Forever Fan was an exclusive label to Builder Square. And I think they primarily marketed higher end fans such as this, which these are all made by Kontrust or Top Union. I want to say they lasted sometime between the very late 80s, going into the mid 90s, I believe, as long as pretty much how long they lasted for. There was a few different models that exist of this. You had Hugger 42-inch 5-blade. You had a couple other 52-inch fans like this. This one's pretty interesting how it has a more of an Art Deco appearance. Pretty cool looking blade badges. Coming over here, we have the Forever Fan sticker on the side band. On top of the fan, we got a downrod flush mountable canopy, ball socket mount. There's the top of the Kontrust K55S motor. Unfortunately, there is no information sticker on the fan anywhere. If there was one, it likely fell off. So I really can't pinpoint exactly when this fan was from, but likely early 1990s. Another interesting thing of note is the blade pitch. It's 15 degrees, which is pretty unusual for a Kontrust Top Union fan, as most of them were around 13, maybe 14 degrees. The light that you see on the fan is something I added myself. The fan did not have a light on it when I got it. Figured I'd throw that light on there just for kicks. And I would have flipped the blades around to the oak side, however, whoever owned it before me didn't really care too much about protecting it from when they were painting, and they got paint splatters all over the tops of these blades. So it is what it is. So we'll turn the light on here. It is a 3-way light. Looks pretty good in this combination. And we'll start it up here on low. Pretty quiet on low. We're doing around 50 RPM. Pretty aesthetic. Throwing out a subtle breeze. We'll go to medium. Fan does wobble, I believe, due to the flywheel being warped. Maybe some blade warpage as well. But medium speed, we're doing around 100 RPM. And it's already throwing out a decent breeze. Let's take it to high. So not too extremely fast. We're only doing around 150 RPM here. But with that 15-degree blade pitch, this is a pretty good air mover. It is a very good performing fan. Lights back on. And that's about all I got. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed a video of this 52-inch antique brass, the Forever Fan ceiling fan, sold at Builder Square from the early 1990s. Stay cool. Take care. Peace. One thing before I go here, I completely forgot that this fan was 4-blade adaptable as well. So here's the fan in the 4-blade configuration. One interesting thing to note here is that on the flywheel, on most typical Kontrust products that I've encountered, the 5-blade configuration is always on the outside of the 4-blade configuration in terms of how the screws laid out in the flywheel. But this one's different. It is backwards. So the 4-blade is actually on the outside and the 5-blade is more in toward the inside, toward the center. So something pretty interesting there. I think they might have done it in the 90s, swapped that pattern around, who knows. But let's turn the light back on. And let's jump in and get started. Low speed's about comparable in terms of the 5-blade configuration speed. We're doing around 50-55 RPM here on low. We'll go back to medium. Medium, we're doing around 105 RPM. And here's high. And the wobble's a bit more significant than the 4-blade configuration. But on high here, we're doing around 155 RPM. Airflow is comparable to the 5-blade, still pretty good with the 15-degree blade pitch. We'll turn the light back on here. All right, now that's all. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video on this 52-inch antique brass, the Forever Fan ceiling fan. Manufactured by Kontrust sometime back in the early 1990s. Stay cool. Take care. Peace.